Didn't know how to pray that day. I sat still, not in reverence, but in exhaustion, wrapped in a silence so thick it muffled even my thoughts. The kind of silence that doesn't feel holy, just heavy. I didn't light a candle or sing a song. I barely breathed. I didn't ask for you, not out of anger, but because I wasn't sure. You still came to places like this, the hollow places, the numb places, the places where faith had dried up into dust. But you came anyway. You came without a sound, without a sermon, without any expectation. And I didn't see you, but I felt the shift, like the air had remembered how to be gentle again. You didn't speak, you didn't rush to fix the ache or fill the silence with answers I wasn't ready to hear. You just stayed. That was the miracle. Not thunder, not fire, just a holy stillness that refused to leave. You stayed through the silence, through the ache that had no name, through the night that never seemed to end. You sat with me in the ache and didn't ask me to rise. You held space for my grief, made room for my doubt, and called none of it too much. You didn't try to erase the sorrow, you simply outlasted it. You were the breath beside me when mine was shallow. You were the warmth in a world that had gone cold. You didn't wait for me to believe again. You just waited with me until I could. I used to think I had to come back strong, to worship loud, to rise quickly, to feel joy before I could reach for you again. But you reached first. You reached when I didn't reach back. You loved me without movement, without words, without promises. You heard prayers I never spoke and read pain I never shared, and somehow you still call me beloved. Even now, as I look back on those days, I don't remember a moment of breakthrough. I remember presence, I remember the miracle. Wasn't that the storm ended, but that you entered it with me. I didn't need the pain to vanish. I needed not to be left alone in it, and you made sure of that. You stayed when the lights were off. You stayed when the words ran dry. You stayed when I couldn't lift my hands, when I couldn't sing, when I barely believed. What kind of God stays in silence? What kind of king enters sorrow and doesn't try to escape it? What kind of love weeps beside the weary instead of calling them to stand? Yours, only yours. You are not the God who demands light. You are the one who steps into the dark and waits until we're ready to walk again. So I will remember, not because I was brave, but because you were near. Not because I climbed back up, but because you sat with me until I could. You stayed, and that saved me, that changed me, that showed me I don't need perfect words to be held. just need to be still and know you're